Okay, so let's just jump right in. We are absolutely swimming in data, right? But here's the dirty secret. Most of it is, well, it's a total mess. For what feels like forever, getting that data ready for anything useful has been the slow, painful, and super expensive manual job. But that's all starting to change. In this explainer, we're going to dig into how a brand new kind of AI is finally tackling this massive trillion-dollar data problem.
And, when I say trillion-dollar problem, I'm not just throwing around big numbers for fun. Just look at this, 30%. The estimates say that messy, inefficient data can cost a company up to 30% of its revenue. I mean, that is a staggering amount of money just gone, wasted. And it's all because the raw information that businesses are gathering is basically useless right out of the box.
So what gives? What's the holdup? I mean, why has this been such a tough nut to crack for so long? It's not like people haven't been trying to fix it. The real problem, well, it's baked right into the data itself.
All right, so the source material really breaks this down into three big buckets of headaches. First up, you've got your basic consistency and quality issues. We're talking typos, empty cells, and like 12 different ways to write the same date. Ugh. Second, there's the whole isolation problem. Your data is trapped in all these separate systems, each with its own format, and they just don't talk to each other. And finally, and this is a big one, you've got semantic limitations. The data has no context. It's just a bunch of numbers and words with nothing to explain what they actually mean.
So to deal with all this, we are in the middle of a massive shift in thinking, a real paradigm shift. We're throwing out the old, clunky, rigid ways of doing things and stepping into a totally new era of intelligent data handling. It's a move from what we call brittle rules to actual reasoning.
And this slide, wow, it really lays out the before and after perfectly. The old way, it was all about brute force. You had to have experts writing these super complicated rules and scripts. And those rules were brittle, meaning if anything changed even a little bit, they just break. They had zero understanding of what the data actually meant. But the new way, the one powered by large language models, or LLMs, it's a total game changer. Now you use simple, plain English instructions. The AI gets the meaning. It can apply what it learns to different kinds of problems, and it already knows so much that you don't need to spoon-feed it nearly as much labeled data.
All right, so let's look at how this new approach works in the real world. First up, AI-powered data cleaning. This is where we start turning that chaos into some real consistency.
So what is data cleaning really? It's pretty simple. It's the job of fixing all those errors and messy bits we were just talking about. It's all about taking that raw, unreliable junk and turning it into something you can actually trust, something you'd be willing to use for important stuff like business analytics or, training another AI.
And here we go. This is a perfect and frankly super annoying example that anyone who's worked with data will recognize. Dates. They're in every format imaginable. In the old days, the developer would have to write this nightmare of code. We're talking complex pattern matching, just to handle every single possible way a date could be written. Now, you just tell the LLM what you want. That's it.
And the process itself is it's so simple. It almost feels like cheating. Step 1, you just say what you want in plain English, something like, hey, convert all these dates to the year, month, day format. Step 2, the LLM actually understands the intent behind your words. And step 3, boom, the data is transformed automatically. No more custom writing fragile code for every little thing. Okay, but cleaning the data is really just step 1. It's just the beginning. The real magic happens when you start connecting and enriching it, when you start finding those hidden relationships and adding all that crucial context. And that brings us to the next big piece of the puzzle, data integration. Think about it. In almost any company, data is everywhere. It's scattered across tons of different systems. So integration is the massive challenge of hunting down all the related pieces of information and stitching them together into one single coherent picture. Here's a fantastic, simple example. One system, maybe your sales database, says iPhone 13. Another one, your inventory, says Apple iPhone 13. To an old rule-based system, those are two completely different things. But an LLM, it understands the meaning. It knows those two labels are pointing to the exact same thing in the real world. This is what's called entity matching, and it is absolutely fundamental if you want to get a real, honest picture of your business. All right, so your data is clean. It's integrated. Now you can get to the really good part. Enriching it. Think of this as moving beyond just tidying up your house. Now you're decorating. You're adding new layers of context and insight that make the data not just a little bit better, but exponentially more valuable.
Just look at this. On one side, you've got a raw table of numbers. I mean, on its own, that's pretty meaningless, right? It's just noise. But you feed that into an LLM, and out comes what we call a semantic profile, a summary a human can actually read and understand. It tells you, hey, this is enterprise sales data, and the average sale is about 6.6K. It literally turns raw, meaningless numbers into actual, usable knowledge.
And this is where things start to feel like science fiction. We're moving past using AI for just one-off tasks. The next frontier is something called agent-based orchestration. You can think of it like this. A central LLM agent acts as the project manager. It understands the whole goal. And then it intelligently plans and delegates all the little jobs, cleaning, matching, labeling, to other specialized AI tools. We're talking about full-on, end-to-end automation.
Okay, so as awesome and exciting as all this sounds, let's pump the brakes just a little. We're not living in some data paradise just yet. This tech is incredibly powerful for sure, but there are still some pretty big challenges ahead.
So what are we up against? Well, first, there's the cost. It's not cheap. Running these giant models on massive corporate datasets is still prohibitively expensive for many. Second, you have the ever-present risk of hallucinations. You know, when the AI just confidently makes stuff up. That's a huge problem for trust. Then you have to worry about reliability. Can you really count on these complex agent systems to work perfectly every single time? And finally, how do we even measure success? We need better, scalable ways to check their work and make sure they're actually doing the job right. And all of this leads to one final, and I think really crucial question. This technology is getting better and better at automating all the tedious, boring, time-sucking parts of working with data. So as the AI takes over all the grunt work, what's left for us? What becomes the uniquely human skill in this new world of data?